Our next stop is in the Seaport District. It's Boston's newest and fastest growing neighborhood.
The Seaport District, it just has had exponential growth, especially when it comes to innovation. Some of the top technology companies are here: Google, Amazon, Cengage, McGraw-Hill, and million-dollar real estate popping up everywhere. This is really symbolic of what we're doing at CQ Press. We're investing in technology, digital to complement our print. We're growing at a fast pace. So we thought this would be a perfect place to really symbolize digital innovation.
Welcome to the Digital Mastery module for Political Science. Here we'll run through the digital materials that are offered with each of the books we've discussed in the previous modules, as well as show examples of our premium video assets. The Scott IR text will have a full suite of ancillaries, including an interactive ebook, course pack, and Sage Edge site. The interactive ebook will contain Sage Premium Video in the form of Topics in IR animations, which we'll show you an example of in a minute. The book also contains Sage News Clips, which you have seen previously within the Abernathy ancillaries. Note that there will be assessments tied to these videos within the Scott IR course pack. Here's an example of one of the new Topics in International Relations animations, which explains the prisoner's dilemma.
If you've ever watched a police or legal drama on television, you've surely seen the police or prosecutor deal with two people that have committed a serious crime together, but there is not enough evidence to send the suspects to jail without a confession. To solve the problem, the suspects are separated and offered the same deal. If the first person confesses and testifies against the second person, they get a light sentence in jail, while the other person goes to prison. If both confess, they both go to prison. If neither confess, they both go free. How does this relate to international relations? If India and Pakistan are negotiating a treaty to limit troops on the Kashmir border, they are both better off if they abide by the treaty. Fewer troops, less conflict, more security. But each country has an incentive to cheat if they fear the other won't keep their promise. India and Pakistan will likely betray each other, creating more troops and more conflict on the Kashmir border. This same dynamic that applies to security cooperation like arms treaties also affects other areas, like trade and the environment. Because each side has a reason to cheat, they both do, and will end up with suboptimal outcomes. Without an authoritative central government to enforce rules and punish traitors of the agreement, it is very difficult to solve the prisoner's dilemma. Think back to the two suspects. If they were both good friends with a long history of trust, they would not betray one another. Countries like the US and UK have developed a great deal of trust, so they make agreements knowing the other country will abide by the rules. A large, powerful state like the US might be able to guarantee that countries play by the rules, but it is very hard for the US or another large state to police the world. So prisoners' dilemma situations like the environment and arms are often left unsolved.
We covered the Abernathy brief ancillaries last semester, but here's a quick refresher. Abernathy is also accompanied by an IEB, course pack, and Sage Edge. As with Scott IR, Abernathy's interactive ebook contains Sage Premium Video, this time in the form of Topics in American Government animations. The book also contains Sage News Clips, and there are assessments tied to both video types within the Abernathy course pack. For those that have not yet taken a look at the Sage News Clips, here's an example.
For the last couple of years, this young woman has been denied full access to locker room facilities in the school simply because she is transgender. I think when you have been the subject of discrimination, when you have been the subject of discussion in which the superintendent of your school district suggests that you may not really be a girl, I think to have the weight of the federal government come down and say that your rights have been trampled and that they need to be respected is incredibly validating and incredibly inspirational.
By imposing this unrestricted access without any measure of expected privacy, we believe that that is not the right thing to do for our young people. There are private changing stations, and each of those individual stations would afford access into the locker room and opportunities to engage with peers in the locker room. At the same time, protecting matters of privacy that are very critical among teenage students. We continue to be very hopeful that we're going to be able to work toward a solution together that serves the best interests of all of our students, those who are transgender and those who are cisgender.
So remember, as you can see, videos play within the interactive ebooks, and the assessments are found in the course packs. So if people want to be able to assign video, they need to adopt both the course pack and the IEB. Let's move on to constitutional law. First and foremost, don't forget about the Con Law Resource Center. This used to be a huge bundle in this course, and it's fallen off a bit recently, but it really should still be very popular with your con law instructors. Remind them that it's a free bundle item with the purchase of a print text, and it's a great way to keep their course current because the authors continue to post recent cases as soon as each Supreme Court term ends. So there's always content added to the Resource Center, which can't be found in the print books. The site features more than 500 excerpted supplemental cases. These include all cases that have appeared in past editions of the book but have since been taken out, as well as all cases referenced in the current editions. The Resource Center also offers a place for students to study the content with online quizzes, and instructors can find additional teaching materials, including hypothetical cases paired with discussion questions and writing assignments, moot court simulations, test banks, and more. The Sage Edge site for Clark Foundations is adapted from the Big Book, so they're very similar, but they do reflect the more streamlined content within the Foundations text. For example, there's less methodological material related to game theory, statistics, and methods. The site includes all of the major resources found in standard Sage Edge sites. The rest of the titles we have covered will also be accompanied by standard Sage Edge sites and instructor and student resources.